Hi, everyone. Betska, the Guru Coach, together with co-host Raj Vashisht. Welcome to Mindful Leadership Beyond Borders, Part 2 with Miss Pam Ivey. And we are discussing a topic that really needs a year's worth of shows. And it's on women's equality, on women's visibility and equity, and so on. And in Part 1, we had a major discussion around the challenges that women face and what we can do marketing wise to help level that playing field and so on. We also talked about which countries have excellent human rights for women, and the three of us were kind of stumped. So we're after the show, we're going to go and do some AI research to find out which countries have, and again, there's a very useful tool for a good way to use AI. So now we also talked about, Pam, one of your blessings with your great personality is that you moved to this village and you didn't know anybody. So you just went and joined every board and every team you could, and you got to know a lot of people. And that's a great way to grow your business for people. You're a speaker, a professional speaker, trainer, so people get to see your power. And I'm going to guess that they don't feel threatened by you. Am I right?
Really? No.
I
don't think so because I'm always smiling for one, right? No.
Yeah.
I don't compete with others. I want to lift each other up. I want us to lift each other up. So
right.
I don't know. I don't think I give off those vibes whatsoever.
Right.
So I don't think I threaten anyone.
But that's an important point, isn't it?
Beautiful approach.
Yeah. So you're treating everyone as equals, and you're there to simply support and help others. Raj, I want to ask you, you are an executive search consultant. You work with tons of major corporations and governments and so on. So what, in your opinion, is happening with women's rights in India and or other countries? What would you like to say about this topic?
This is very interesting. I always say to my friends, female friends, colleague, my sister also, self-belief, self-determination. This is very important. I'm telling you a very interesting story. When I was in school, college, so I was always fighting with my sister. Why you are listening my elder idiotic brother advice? Because he is always and always dominating women's. So why you are listening this idiotic opinion? Because whenever she go out, whenever she met with friends, he always, you do this, you do that this way, you come this time. So I always say, why? You have full rights. I'm with you. You go where you want. If you want, whatever you want, you can wear. This is your life. I always encourage, although I was very young to her. But I don't know, I feel no, she have full rights like me, like because we are equal. So that time I realized, and my sister was very nice, very, very good person by heart, by character, by professional. So then when I joined corporate world, then I always suggest, I have heard so many times some women's, they give up their career just because of marriage, because of the baby. So I always suggested, please don't give up your career, because you never know after 1 year, 2 year, 3 year what will be happen. Because I have seen so many bad example, like one my women friend, she was in a very great job, and when she married, she left her career. Then after 8 year, she again started talking to me, again come back to me. Then she said, Raj, I have done very big blunder mistake. I have a huge career, big position, and when I married, I thought I have done the right things. But after 8 year, her husband is suddenly changed. He dominating. he always accusing, he always hitting his confidence and inner self-conscious confidence point. You are useless, you can't do this, you are depending on my money,
Wow,
this
wow,
way.
wow.
Wow,
So
yeah.
this is really very difficult when you are in the relationship or emotionally things and you have grown up children also. So it's not easy to
Hmm.
break up or divorce. It's not easy, some point of view.
Hmm.
So for my point of view, you need your financial freedom and your
Hmm.
self individual opinion and personality. That is very important. And the main thing I have seen so many female friends, they are not taking care of their health also sometimes. They are only focused on husband and children.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So that is also important for women health point of view.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
Absolutely.
Good.
self confidence and self belief is very important.
Yes, number one.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
because I have seen even I angry also sometimes. All the time you are chasing husband, you are asking husband. This is not good. You
Hmm.
are your own personality. Why not? You can decide your own decision. Why you're asking all the time husband and brother and sister
Mm.
and the father and mother?
Yeah.
Let it be.
Hmm.
Sometime you will fall down. Next step you
Hmm.
will become more
Hmm.
strong.
Hmm.
But I
So
have
yeah,
seen this is the problem.
yeah. So
Absolutely. And um, if women can think about it this way, because often we don't want to be selfish, if we're
mm,
have that self-belief and we're being strong for us, we're also lifting others. So it's not completely selfish,
mm,
right?
right. Yeah. And the topic, what you just raised there, Raj, is really a generational pattern that
Hmm.
yesterday I was working with, I think she was 24 years old from Europe, and her pattern of allowing others to tell her what to do all the time was generational. Her mother did the same thing, and her grandmother, and so on. So we have to be very aware of these cultural and generational patterns and cut them.
Which is
That's the
so
only way.
difficult. Very
Yeah,
easy to say,
yeah. Well, again with the
but
research
awareness,
we've
right?
done. Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So next question for you, Pam, is about mentoring and what role does mentorship and community play in advancing female equity and leadership in business? You're a master at this, so tell us, give some of the people in our audience here a few tips.
I really believe that mentoring is key in
Ah,
lifting other women um,
mm,
with support and encouragement. But together we have a voice. When we're
ah,
alone, people will question it, right? But if
mm-hmm,
we're working together as a community, it definitely reduces isolation, but it also normalizes this ambition of what we're working toward. But we
mm-hmm,
lift each other up with mentorship. When we do so and we work together, our our growth accelerates. So I think
right.
mentorship is really key with any kind of movement, and this is a movement.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
it's
Mm-hmm,
how we build more equitable systems is working
mm-hmm.
together. And it's
So,
not just women and women, it's women and men. And
mm-hmm,
I spoke earlier about millennials because I find
mm,
that so many of the millennials that I'm drawn to and that I have friendships with and stuff have such a different mentality this way.
mm-hmm,
What's really interesting, I know I'm going a little away from the mentoring, but I have a very, very close friend. I call him actually my island bestie, and he's
mm-hmm.
41 years old. So he's 20 years younger than me almost. And he has actually called to my attention. Um, this is actually really funny. Uh, everything is for women today.
Oh,
And it
Really?
is. It's really funny, especially in the business world, especially where we are. We have so many women's groups, women's only associations,
Mhm.
and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
I said, so why don't you start a men's group? Not even thinking, but he said, Pam, that is what brought us to all of this to begin with.
Wow, isn't that fascinating? Well, he's right, isn't he?
Yes, he is. So,
Yeah.
I've created some groups myself for an event that I have coming up, and I've made it inclusive. It's not
Mm,
only women, but
mm.
my first thought was that it would be women only. But
Ah.
because of that discussion, it's
Mhm.
inclusive now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's nice to have that balance. I mean, with Mindful Leadership Beyond Borders, our podcast, having, Raj and I balancing each other out on our discussions and our questions, it's
Yes.
fascinating because we learn stuff, that we never, and of course,
We think differently. It's just fact,
yeah,
right?
that's the way it is. Yeah. And
But
Raj
it's
is,
interesting just to say that and that funny little story where Pam, that's how this all started. Um, we can lean too much the other way too. So we have
yeah,
to be mindful of everyone.
yes, totally, totally.
Mhm.
Yeah. And the other thing with Raj and I is that my spiritual teacher is Supreme Master Ching Hai, and Raj's is Shumataji, right? So two different eras and two female masters, right? Which is
Mhm.
kind of interesting, unusual in the spiritual world.
Yes,
And her teachings are often, different from my teachers, and so we just it's a wonderful, rich conversation. Is my point? Yeah,
absolutely.
we can have those rich conversations and help each other out in various ways. Okay, so um, there you go, Zoe. As
Move her
long as she
along.
doesn't, so cute. So I guess final question here to wrap up our show. Excuse me. Actionable advice. What actionable advice would you give to leaders who want to create more inclusive, equitable cultures, both online and offline? What a question.
Mm.
But tell me,
And I think
top tips.
the very first is to listen. Um,
Okay.
we really want to make space for diverse voices,
Yes.
and we really truly want to hear them, what they're saying,
Okay.
intentions behind,
Mm.
and really take it in.
Yeah.
We really want to be extremely intentional about
Hmm.
who we amplify, whose voice we really get behind and champion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, we have to simplify our own voice to be more inclusive. There's that word again. I think inclusivity is such a
Mm.
beautiful word and
Mm.
one that um, it's often used beautifully today. It's not just bantied around. Um,
Hmm.
I think jargon and complex funnels around this kind of thing can just drive people away. So we want to simplify, we want to really get behind and amplify voices that we believe in.
Hmm.
So it's truly listening. And always ask yourself, whose voices are missing from the conversation and how can I fill that void?
Wow, that's a beautiful one.
Hmm.
What voices are missing? Isn't that something? Yeah. And then bringing in your point earlier about your male friend, part of your points that you mentioned is how important it is to bring the men into the conversation because they see things differently and are often more strategic than we are because they're masters of the left brain, right? So very detailed, um, and anything to do with left brain logic and strategy, right? They are very good at it. So it's I love having conversations on our leadership teams. In the past, we've always had men and women, and to hear the different points of view.
It opens up so much to us when we're inclusive in our conversations. Absolutely.
Yeah. Because we can be blocked, can't we, by our biases? You know, maybe we've been discriminated against. So vitally important.
So much so. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And I really want to make a strong point that this is not male bashing or men hating. This is coming together so that we can work toward a greater good.
Yeah.
Together empowerment.
What's that? Sorry. What kind?
Together empowerment.
Together empowerment. Yes. And use the strengths of men and women to elevate women and elevate men, because in the past I've known and worked with many men who also felt downtrodden, maybe because of the way they were raised, and they need a leg up. Right?
No one is superior.
No, exactly. No one is superior. Well, listen, Miss Pam Ivey, thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you so much. This was such a fun conversation.
Very rich, right? I mean, we'll have to do it again. And, maybe down the road, we could have a discussion around the top countries in the world who honor.
Yes, I must do my research.
Yes, female rights, and also who honor equal rights, men and women. I think that would be a very robust conversation. So that's your homework, Pam.
Thank you. I love